Hi everybody, it's Peg, and today is day 10, which is Cupcake. And I am going to do a page. What I'm doing is I have a bunch of tapes. This one I'm working with is actually a fabric tape, kind of like washi, but it's fabric. And I'm going to die cut these to create some images for my page, but um, I've got all this tape I rarely use, and I'm saying you need to use some of that, do something with it. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm pulling out some of these supplies that are just sitting around here, and I'm actually creating paper by doing this, putting these different pieces down. It just becomes something. And yeah, you can see I'm going to do some in neutrals. And what I'm working on is just a piece of artist tissue. I like using this for underpaper because it's thin, so you don't really see it on the page, but it's also white. And for any of these like translucent things, you've got a white background. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and then I'll end up die cutting and coming back and showing you what I have. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I have another one of these journal pages that has some background stuff on there. Not a real fan, it's kind of dark. And I'm just going to take a brush and knock some of that back with a little bit of gesso. My favorite words. Gesso, knock it back. Take it to another level. And this stuff, I think, is that Diane Reilly spray. So yeah, it's going to seep up through there and give color no matter what you do, because that stuff travels. I'm telling you, it travels. It goes off on a trip on its own, and you don't even have to be along. It just says, I'm there, I'm doing this, this is where I am. Okay, so I've got that done. I'm going to hit it quickly with a heat tool. And this one's got the cake on it. It's got little snails that have cake on their back. Somebody had a good imagination. Looks like the one little bug is holding this, what looks like a staff or a light pole or something, and it's got little bitty flowers on it, kind of like coral bells. All right, so get this down. Oh, it might be a fox. Amy, it might be a fox. Okay, so I've got that down. Then I've got, let's see, I've got a stencil here. I think I'm going to do a little stenciling. Let me bring that gesso back out. Okay, so I'm going to speed things up because I was boring myself. And if I'm boring myself, I know I'm boring you guys. So, all right, gesso through a stencil. You guys have seen this before. Got to dry that off, and then I'm going to come in with some other color. What I'm trying to do is create a landing place. When you are putting things on a page, they are just like us standing on the ground. We need a landing space. We don't just float in the air. So what I'm doing is creating some flooring for my little caricatures, I guess you'd call them. My cupcake, my little gingerbread man. So I'm getting some archival ink out, gonna put that through the stencil, and I'm using my soft sponge. I don't know if you guys have these, but wow. Can I say it again? Wow. I really like these soft sponge when I'm stenciling. Um, they sell them for use with the pan pastels. I think I use them with everything because it's a little more compact and it doesn't make the mess on your page. And yeah, I'll say it again. Wow. Did you get the message that time? Wow. Okay, I'm getting boring now. Okay, so I also want to create some texture on the background of the page. So I'm going to use that same wooden stencil in the background to make it look kind of like wood paneling. Do you guys remember wood paneling? We had wood paneling. Ugly stuff. But I'm going to make mine purple, so it should be better, right, Shell? Purple? Shell and I have a thing about color. My favorite color is turquoise. Shell's favorite color is purple. And I use browns and golds and greens a lot. Don't ask me why, because my favorite color is turquoise. But that's what I do. I don't know. I migrate towards those fall colors, and especially in the fall, it's just been ridiculous. So I thought I'd change it up and do something in a different tone today. I've got sparkle, I've got purple, I've got all kinds of stuff going on. Now these pieces are just stuff that I had laying around on my desk. I used them in another project, and you know, that's what I do with art journaling. A lot of times it's just using up stuff that, oh yeah, look at that, there's texture there, let's use that. Just grab whatever you got lying around the studio because it's a journal page, folks. It's not major art. So yeah, you can see I'm using a piece of paper that's just laying there for a mask. I'm using some Color Bloom spray. I love the color and shimmer of these. I don't love that they don't stay where you put them. So yeah, I think that's the bane of all of us right now is, can we get a spray that's permanent? Are you listening? Are you listening, manufacturers? We want permanent sprays, not something that's going to keep on moving every time you touch it with a wet brush. Because we layer, we layer. Here goes another layer. All right. So, yeah, that's that wood grain stencil. I don't even know who that's by. Let me look and see if I have a name for you. Ta-dum, ta-dum. Oh, it's a Prima. That is a wood grain from Prima, and it doesn't have a number or anything on it, but you can probably find it on their website. And the other stencil I use here, this little cute one, it's probably a Prima too, because it looks very similar, but nothing on that for marking, so I'm not really sure. But when you're looking at Prima for that wood grain one, yeah, find the cute one. So I'm using my permanent ink to add a little shading around that flooring at the bottom and around the whole outside of the page, just to draw your eye inward. There we go. This purple is a really pretty purple. It's a pretty purple, Shell, if you don't have it. It's called Deep Purple. Imagine that. And that's archival ink from Ranger. And I like all the archival inks from Ranger. I think they are one of my favorites right now. I do have several favorites right now. Yeah. Depends on the day, right? Okay, so that paper, remember that paper that I created way back when that was washi tape? Well, I used that to die cut my cupcakes because I thought that'll give some nice texture, and it's flat and it can go in a journal. It's colorful and I'm using more color, and oops, time's up. So I did a speech bubble above the cupcakes because they have things to say. Yes, they do. They have things to say. So there's that other stencil. I'm going to just kind of put that into the background, but yeah, that little gingerbread man thinks he is the cat's meow. So he's getting cute and adorable and all that stuff stenciled over there by him. 'Cause that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, hot stuff, Mr. Hot Stuff. Okay, so I guess I could have made a girl gingerbread, but it was a gingerbread man. What can I say? Gingerbread girl? Not so much. Okay, so looks like my Posca white pen has dried up, so I got to get a different one. So I'm just, yeah, doing it again. Got the Posca pens out, doing some outlining, doing some shading, doing all that kind of stuff just to make the stuff come up off of the page. And I added a little cherry on top, but I didn't make it red because I kind of liked it with all that text and stuff in there. So I'm being different. And yeah, I got the other white Posca pen out and just going to decorate my cookie and make him look more like a Mr. Gingerbread Man. And I've got some of those little bling bling pieces that Shell sent me in a package, and I'm going to use those for his buttons. And we're just about done with this page. So if you haven't found us already, find us. We have a challenge on Instagram. All of the daily prompts are there. Follow Shell and Lizzie and Sherry and myself and do a daily journal page in the month of November. We're only, 11 days in here. You got a lot of days left. Or do them into December or whatever. But time for a party. Bye, guys.